These are the crazy mountains in Montana, a place known for centuries as one of unpredictability and power. We've traveled miles into this backcountry cabin for some rest, adventure, and to ride out a substantial snowstorm. This is Tiny Cabin Life. We're in central Montana, making our way into the crazy mountains. Our destination is a backcountry cabin that requires either a 7-mile ski-in or snowmobile ride. And so just getting there is a big part of the adventure. The Crazy Mountains are an island mountain range, meaning they just sort of pop up out of nowhere. They got their name from the Crow tribe here in Montana, and apparently were famous for having metaphysical powers and being unpredictable. And so it's pretty surreal to be riding into a remote cabin here where we're gonna face a pretty decent snowstorm. We made it. Wow, this is so cool. Oh man. I love that it's a traditional log cabin as well. It's just so incredibly beautiful. And it could not be in a more gorgeous spot. If you look outside every single window, you've got just the most epic view. So it looks like we got a little table here with a Coleman stove. There's also some dishes. I brought everything in because I didn't want to have to rely on anything, but it's cool to know that it's here. And there are 3 sets of bunk beds. So if you brought in a group, you would have plenty of room. And last, but certainly most important, we have the wood burning stove here. That's how we're gonna get heat. It looks like we got a nice stocked wood box here, and there is a shed out back. So that's gonna be the first thing I do, is get this fire going so we can heat up the cabin. As I hauled in our gear, I noticed that some weather was already starting to push into the area. We're expecting a pretty good snowstorm today with heavy wind. However, I was hoping to have maybe a little bit of time before it arrived to get out and enjoy the scenery and maybe try some spring fishing. But I guess the Crazy Mountains have other plans. After getting the fire started, I laid out the rest of my gear in the cabin. So I have something good that I'm gonna be making for dinner, but I have some leftover pizza fixings from the last trip I was on a few days ago. And so I figured I might as well try to make a little pizza on a backpacking stove. We'll see how it goes. You know what, on second thought, we're gonna put this just right on top of the wood stove. I think that might give it some more ambient heat anyway. Dear God, thank you for getting us here safely. Help us to have a great time out here. Amen. That's a good pizza. Coming down out here. I checked the weather forecast and it said that it's going to just continue to snow all day, basically until dark. I'm still hoping to do some fishing. Even if I have to go in the snow, we at least have the sled to get us down to the river, and I don't know, we'll see if trout like to eat during a snowstorm. We seem to have received a break in the snow, and so I figured this was my time to head down to the river. But as soon as I got geared up and ready to go, another wave of wind and snow made its way into the area. Well, as quickly as the snow stopped, it just picked right back up again. I don't know if fish mind snow, if trout do, but I do know that they hate the wind. So, I don't know. I'm gonna try to find somewhere that's like sheltered a bit, but this might just be a fool's errand. This is so crazy. Yeah, this is a no-go. Man, this is gnarly. I don't know, maybe if it dies down, we can try to fish in the morning before heading out. But I think I gotta just go back in the cabin. This is insane. The wind is just like really, really bad now. It's a serious storm. We are very lucky that we made it in when we did. Because if it was snowing and blowing wind like this, riding, no way. I'm definitely not experienced enough for that. Riding down the hill to the river is one thing, but trekking in 7 miles, nah. Well, I've got a nice treat here while we're stuck inside. This is a cold smoke from Kettle House Brewing Company in Missoula, Montana, where I went to college. They only sell this in the state of Montana, so I can only get it when I'm here, and it's a good treat. So cheers, guys. Let's keep riding out this storm. All right, seems like we got a little break in the weather, and I'm gonna take it. Let's head down to the river. Now we know this did happen earlier, and it turned back into a whiteout in a split second. So we'll be ready to come back up to the cabin if that happens again. Very shallow, but we'll give it a shot. Early spring fishing can be either hit or miss. Temperatures are beginning to rise a bit, but the water levels are still very, very low, and trout are much less active in very, very cold water. It's just too shallow here. There are no pools where there's open water. But right up there where it freezes over, that's where we've got some deeper water, and there seems to be a pool. I wonder if that's where the fish are hanging out. Unfortunately, it seems that all of the deeper pools are completely frozen over right now. So the reason that this is frozen over and that spot isn't is because it's much shallower over there, so the water creates much more of a ripple, there's more current going on, and so it's harder for it to freeze. Here in the deeper pools, there's less movement in the water, at least on the surface, and so it freezes over. And unfortunately, that's where the fish are gonna be. So I think we're out of luck here. And just like that, full on snowstorm again. Unbelievable. So the chore that I have to do here is make sure that we have enough firewood split for the night. The shed over here has a bunch of rounds in it, but you got to split them up. I'm gonna do that so we have enough wood for the night, and then I'll definitely have to do it again in the morning to restock the box before we leave. Well, I figured I might as well do dinner before it gets dark. It'll just be easier to cook with the natural light coming through the windows. I'm just gonna heat up some carnitas tonight, make some tacos. It'll be super easy, but really, really good too. Those carnitas taste amazing.
The snow came to a screeching halt, and we actually got some blue skies right before the sun set.
Been just a wild day. I wasn't expecting the weather to be so chaotic, but we rolled with the punches and had a great time. Ellie has conked out. She's beaten me to it, but I think I'm going to join her soon because I'm going to get up pretty early, have some coffee, and then start packing out of here. So I think I'm just going to have one more cold smoke here, and we'll hit the hay soon. Try to get some good sleep. Well, good morning. I did not sleep well, and I have a pretty bad headache. I don't think it's from the 2 cold smokes that I had. I honestly don't. It's just kind of strange because I don't normally get headaches, but I'm sure it'll clear up, and before we know it, we'll be back outside in the fresh air and heading back towards the truck. So we'll see.
As soon as that sun came up, the wind picked up as well. And I knew it was time for us to pack up and get out of here.
it is time to get out of here. Everything looks good inside, and the weather seems to be okay as well. It is pretty windy, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
The ride back was quite an adventure, so much that I wasn't able to really document any of it. The snow and wind had caused a lot of drifts on the trail, which required me to do some side hill riding, which was quite uncomfortable for me and required all of my focus. And so once I saw the truck come into view, I was relieved, but it was also bittersweet that such an awesome adventure was coming to an end.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for this adventure. Man, oh man, was this a wild one. Just getting in there was insane, and getting out was equally insane. There were so many snow drifts coming back that I had to really be careful going over. And yeah, definitely put me out of my comfort zone a bit, but I learned a lot, especially how to ride this sled through the mountains a bit. And yeah, it was just a wild adventure. Now, real quick before I go, I want to let you know that we do have new merch in the store. This is the boat cabin tee. It's another design by my cousin Lacey Stewart. It's such a great design. I've got it pinned up here, so if you're interested, go check it out. But with that, I gotta get out of here. We got one more adventure here in Montana before I head home to Minnesota. We'll see you next week. God bless.